How to optimize your sleep for maximum muscle growth and progress in the gym. Now, first of all, why do we need to prioritize our sleep when it comes to building muscle and seeing the progress we want in the gym? Now, I would argue that sleeping is double, if not triply, more important than the actual training itself in the gym. Obviously, yes, to see progress and build muscle, we need to be going to the gym. We need to be taking our sets to failure. We need to be making sure that we are spending enough time in the gym a week to actually cause those micro tears, which is how our muscles grow. But why is sleep so much more important than training? When we sleep is actually when our muscles grow, not in the gym. When we sleep, we are releasing growth hormones and protein synthesis is occurring. Protein synthesis is the scientific name of the process of building muscle. So essentially, when we're in the gym, when we're taking our sets to failure, we are causing tiny micro tears in our muscles that are microscopic. Not tearing the muscle completely, as that's when you're getting injured. These tiny micro tears are good for you, not bad for you. So when we're causing these micro tears during our training, they are then replenished during our sleep through protein synthesis, where essentially the proteins that we've consumed in our diet, obviously we need to be eating a high protein diet, these proteins are repairing our micro tears and making them bigger, stronger, and more importantly thicker to grow our muscles, and they'll obviously have more power exertion from that. Now obviously that is why sleep is so important. So we're actually building muscle, releasing growth hormones, so we are growing, getting stronger and getting bigger. Now obviously this process is going to happen more frequently and at a higher quality if our sleep is better. Poor sleep means poor growth hormone release and not enough protein synthesis to fully recover our micro tears. So how are we going to optimize our sleep for this process to occur? Firstly, the amount of sleep that we need. If you're an adult above around 20 years old, you only need to aim around for 8 hours of sleep per night. But if you're a teenager below the ages of 20, we want to be getting up to 10 hours of sleep a night, which I know sounds very unrealistic. I don't even think I'm quite at that level yet. I'm probably only getting around 8 to 9 hours. But that is the goal. We want to aim for this amount of sleep. Obviously, as teenagers, we are still growing. We are still needing extra rest, extra protein synthesis, more growth hormones, as we're still growing in height and everything compared to adults. So how are we going to optimize so we get the best sleep possible? We want to be going to bed and waking up roughly the same time every single night, whether this is weekends or weekdays. So say we're waking up around 8 o'clock for school or work or whatever, we want to be waking up at a similar time on the weekend, so we fully set our rhythm and our internal body clocks to know we're going to bed at this time, we're waking up at this time. So it knows what to expect, so it can actually release the hormones at the right times every night. Because if we go into bed at 1 o'clock one night, 8 p.m. the next night, 3 a.m, 11 p.m, our body's not going to know when to release these hormones, when to do protein synthesis, so we're not going to actually get those micro tears repaired properly, and we're not going to see as good muscle growth. So that's the first way to optimize our sleep, is setting a consistent bedtime and wake up time. But more importantly, what we do before we sleep is the most important. We want to make sure we're off all screens at least 2 hours before bed. This obviously includes our phones, this is TVs, tablets, computer screens. These emit blue light. Now when we see blue light from these screens, it tricks our brain into thinking daylight, which obviously means we're awake and we're not winding down. So I'd recommend get off your screens and do something else. As well, big like room lights as well can disturb it, like this thing up here. It's not going to be very good for you when you're sleeping. So obviously use a small lamp in your room or a candle which doesn't emit enough light like this thing does, which obviously will mess up your sleep quite a lot. But it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now, so that's not too much of a problem at this point in the day. As well, we want to make sure we're not eating 2 hours before bed, as if we eat too close to bed, we're going to be digesting, which uses up a lot of energy, which means our brains aren't going to be signalled to start winding down and prepare to sleep in the night ahead. As well, make sure we don't drink too close to bed. You'll get away with water as long as it's not too much where you need to get up and go to the toilet in the middle of the night. Other than that, I think we've covered everything. As well, obviously just make sure you've got a comfy bed. The lights are all turned off. You've not got like the little LEDs in your lights that are still on. All the computer lights are off. Like the dots on your TV, the little red dot on your TV. Make sure you just turn that off at the switch. That's not showing. Completely blackout room. As minimal noise as possible. Obviously, if you live in a city or something, you can't really help that. But try just minimize the noise in your room as much as possible so you're not getting disturbed during the night. If this was helpful, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.